Today you'll learn how to install Allure Ultra luxury vinyl flooring with Unifit locking edge technology. Just angle, press, and tap to lock. The unique end joints click together just like a door latch, making installation faster and easier than ever. Before we begin, let's take a look at the Unifit locking mechanism. If you hold a plank with the long groove edge facing you, you'll notice the white Unifit locking mechanism on the short left-hand side. In order for the material to lock into place, it's critical to leave the white Unifit locking mechanism where it is. Do not remove the white Unifit locking mechanism from the material. Although Ultra with Unifit may be installed from either direction, today we'll show you how to start a job as it is installed from left to right. Pick your starting wall and position 1/4 inch spacers along the wall, beginning in the left-hand corner. Choose a full plank and position it against the first spacer. The short tongue edge with the white Unifit locking mechanism should be facing to your left. Next, select another plank and prepare to cut it to 1/3 its length. The white Unifit locking mechanism should face the left-hand side. Use a measuring tape to measure from the short groove edge of the plank. Mark 1/3 the length of the plank. Place a straight edge on the mark and score carefully using a utility knife. Snap using your knee as leverage. This cut piece will be used for the first plank of the second row in the install. Engage the long tongue edge of the plank into the long groove edge of the first plank you installed. Using a 30-degree angle, rotate the plank into place against the spacer, making sure it is fully engaged with no gaps. Select a full plank and prepare to install the second plank in the second row. Connect the tongue into the groove on the long side of the first plank. The key is to work at a very slight, low angle, not more than the height of a finger, and slide the plank until the white Unifit locking mechanism touches the short groove edge on the first plank of the second row. Press the joint into place with your fingers, then tap the joint with a lightweight rubber mallet. It is important that the Unifit locking mechanism is fully engaged and the material is lying flat on the floor. Before installing the second plank of the first row, slide the entire assembly away from the wall, just a few inches. Select a full plank, and remember, the white Unifit locking mechanism faces to the left. Position the groove into the tongue of the second plank in the second row. Carefully slide the plank along the tongue at a very low angle, using the tongue as a guide to keep the plank straight. Slide the plank into place until the white Unifit locking mechanism touches the short groove of the first plank. Press into place with your fingers, then tap the joint with a lightweight mallet. Repeat this installation pattern, alternating between rows 1 and 2 until you reach the end of the rows on the opposite wall. Once all planks are in place and joints are secured, tap along the long groove edge with the Allure tapping block to ensure that the material is firmly locked with no gaps. When you reach the end of the rows and you cannot install another full plank, it's time to install the last piece of the first row. Measure from the spacer to the finished edge of the last full plank of the first row. Transfer the measurement onto a full plank by measuring from the white Unifit locking mechanism and marking carefully. Place a straight edge on the mark and score using a utility knife. Snap the plank using your knee as leverage. Next, carefully remove the spacers at the end of the row and install the last plank using the same technique as before, always keeping the angle low as you move the plank into position. Press the joint into place with your fingers, then tap the joint with a lightweight mallet. As always, tap along the long groove edge with the Allure tapping block to ensure that the material is firmly locked with no gaps. Repeat this process for the last plank of the second row. After the second row is complete, replace the spacers at the end of the row. Then, slide the entire assembly back against the wall to its original position. Be sure that the spacers remain in place until the installation is complete. The remaining cut from the end of each row may be used to begin other rows as long as the cut piece measures at least 12 inches in length. The stagger between end joints from one row to the next should never measure less than 8 inches. Make certain the short groove edge is intact on any cut piece before using it to begin a new row. For more information about Allure Ultra luxury vinyl flooring with Unifit locking edge technology, contact a flooring associate at your local Home Depot.